Just real quick, I want to share with you what's going on with the eviction attempts on my family here at 7287 West Fremont Road in Blanchard, Michigan. My wife and I were denied standing in court. Basically, the judge was the one arguing the position of the bank. The bank's lawyer just sat there with a stupid look on his face, and the judge did all of the arguing for him. This case is a lot more than eviction. It's a lot more than the lack of due process. There's a lot involved with this case, and it's now in the federal court. And I just wanted to share real quick what's going on in the federal court because it only helps to demonstrate what I've been saying all along. We don't have a judiciary here in Michigan, and this has bled over to the federal court as well. So on August 13th, I went to the federal court and I filed for a temporary restraining order against my county. Okay, the entire county, all of the judges I have complaints against and claims against, and to think or to suspect that I might actually get anything out of these people in Isabella County is completely ridiculous. So now I'm at the federal court level, and on August 13th I filed this temporary restraining order that still hasn't been heard. And instead, the court clerk was real sweet. She explained to me the different ways to file. She said I could either file miscellaneous or I could file under civil. Didn't matter. She said if you file under miscellaneous, your case will definitely be heard by a judge. She said, but if you file under civil, the judge could pass the case off to a magistrate. I said, well, I definitely don't want a magistrate to hear my case, so I better file under miscellaneous. So that's what I did. Well, immediately after that, Thomas Ludington, the federal court judge, made the case disappear. And in and of his own initiative, without my consent, permission, or acknowledge or consent, he created a civil case with the same case heading and listed me as a plaintiff as if he was my lawyer. I mean, that's what lawyers do. And Thomas Ludington, the federal court judge, is not my lawyer. I don't care for the fella because he's had some really unconstitutional rulings. And as we're getting to the bottom of this, he will be listed as a defendant in United States Supreme Court, I guess, which is the next step, because he made a ruling that's being relied on by my county that says banning cell phones from the courtroom is not unconstitutional. Well, the cell phone issue aside, I don't care about cell phones in the courtroom. It doesn't bother me. But what this ruling did is it snuck in tape recorders. Okay, it's not about cell phones at all. It's about our ability to digitally record what's going on in court, because more and more of us are finding that the transcripts are actually changing from the time the proceedings happen to the time we get the typed transcript. And people don't like reading. Okay, I don't know if you've noticed this or not. The judiciary has, and that's why we're disallowed to have a copy of the audio and video that's automatically created in the courts. So we're being excluded from the digital audio and video that they're creating with equipment that they bought with our money. We're not allowed access to that. And now, most recently, we're being barred and prevented from the First Amendment and the ability to seek redress in our courts and the freedom of press. Because these rulings are coming out, and my own judge here, dictator, Paul Chamberlain in Isabella County, is he's creating administrative orders because he's allowed to for the internal administration of the court, but then he's imposing these internal administration of the court administrative rules on we the people, which is total BS. Total. Another thing is that Paul Chamberlain is supposed to submit these administrative orders to the Michigan Supreme Court before they're enforced. Well, Paul Chamberlain's got placards all over my courthouse that says you can't have cell phones or electronic devices in the courtroom, and this has never been submitted to the Supreme Court. And the court clerk in Isabella County says, well, we don't have to do them all. We just, send over the ones we feel like. Basically, that's what she said. Carrie Curtis, I think's her name. Carrie, Kerri, Curtis. Curtiss. Carrie Curtis is the trial court administrator in Isabella County that told me that for a list of the orders that needed to be submitted to the Supreme Court for approval are listed on the Supreme Court website. Which is crazy, because when you go to the Michigan Supreme Court, SCAO, Supreme Court Administrative something office, yeah, they do publish the ones that have been submitted and approved. But the way these knuckleheads in Isabella County think, those are the only ones that need to be approved, are the ones that they've already approved. So, a total misread of the Michigan court rules. Anyways, getting back on point. The temporary restraining order we filed in the federal court was filed under miscellaneous. The fee was $46, and it was a done deal. It was in, good to go. And Thomas Ludington, at the same time I applied for this e-filing thing so I could, do stuff from home, because I'm about an hour and 45 minutes from the Bay City Federal Eastern District of Michigan Federal Court building. So that's an hour and 45 minutes one way. So it's pretty much an all-day event to get over there. So I file this case under miscellaneous. I have a case file number and everything. Thomas Ludington throws this case in the trash, I guess. My e-file is set up with this new case number that was created by the federal court judge Thomas Ludington, which is completely different than the file number that I have, and I don't even have the ability to make any filings in the case I just filed and applied for e-filing so that I could access the miscellaneous file that I filed in the federal court on August 13th. So I can't access the file I created and paid for, but I can access this other civil file that Thomas Ludington filed on my behalf, listing myself and my wife as the plaintiff, as if he was our frickin' lawyer. I can play in that sandbox, but I can't play in the sandbox that I made. So what am I supposed to do? I can't do anything. The case that I filed, I don't have access to, and it's probably been thrown in the garbage can, but I get to play in this other case. And what's the difference, you say? Well, already there's been a magistrate assigned. I didn't want a magistrate. I specifically didn't want a magistrate. That's why I filed under miscellaneous. So now Ludington creates a new case, calls it civil, assigns a magistrate, and the first thing the magistrate does, she files a show cause hearing as to why the case shouldn't be dismissed because I didn't pay the filing fee on the file that I didn't ask for, that I didn't want, and that was created by the federal court judge on my behalf without my permission. This is 7 ways to crazy, people. And if you're having trouble, I'll explain it to you over the phone. It's completely nuts. We're in the twilight zone now. So this magistrate is moving to dismiss our case in the federal court because the filing fees for a civil case is $400. The filing fee for a miscellaneous case is $46. So now they're moving to dismiss because I didn't pay the $400 for this case that I didn't even ask for. They never offered me a credit for the case I did pay for, the $46, a little over 10% of what it cost to file civilly. They didn't offer me a refund. They didn't send me a check. They act like the case doesn't exist and never exist, but I have all the paperwork right here in my hand. We're in some crazy times, folks. So anyways, there's a show cause hearing on September 22nd, which is about 10 days from now. And I guess I'm supposed to show cause why I didn't pay for this case that I didn't know existed, so they can throw it out. Well, I don't care if they throw it out. I didn't create the case. I want to talk about my case. And that's where we're at. So anyways, that's an update. I'm going to do another one here real soon. Peace. God bless.